I wanted to install a CarCam on my '90 Miata. I decided to go with an E-Prance 805, which is right here. I used a suction cup mount, which I modified so that I could move it from vehicle to vehicle. The red thing you notice, that's the adhesive for the GPS mount, which I'm not using that mount. I did not want to leave have a GPS in each vehicle. I wanted to move the whole thing from car to car. I had to run the wire through the overhead, and that's what I'll be going over here at the camera itself. Gives 5-minute bursts of or chapters of film. Will record until the memory card is full, and then it starts recording over. So it is a non-stop recording process when the car is moving. I tucked it up just behind the mirror so it's not in the field of vision. You can see it's working, but you can't really see the video when you're driving. But I'm not using it to see the video while I'm driving, so that didn't matter. It was a pretty simple task to get the wire routed down to the fuse box, where I connected it with the Escort radar detector to the 15-amp fuse that is down below. So the two are wired together on the same 15-amp fuse, which I believe also runs the audio. The camera turns on automatically with the ignition and turns off when the ignition's shut down. So when the car is running, it's always running. Okay, now we'll take a shot from another angle to give you some idea how I routed the wiring. Now you can see it's just sticking out below the mirror here. The cable's coming out from the overhead up here. To get it there, I had to pop the panel here and the pillar pillar trim cover on the driver's side. To get to that, the sunscreen had to be removed. 2 Phillips screws take care of that, and the hood catch, the roof catch, excuse me, has to be removed. 2 number 40 star heads will fit that and take that out. You have to remove or at least loosen the upper first. I did not take the whole thing off. I only loosened it up to here. That's all I needed to get the wire through. There are 2 clips holding it in and 1 centering pole, and that pops loose. You will then find that the upright piece on the pillar, connects under that. So you'll have to get this loose free so you can release this. So we then pop the weather stripping, and the A-pillar comes down again. You have a sort of slide lock down on the bottom, 2 clips, and a positioning post, and that pops right out. Once you get that out, it was very simple to snake. Originally I thought I'd drop the wire. Instead I ran a snake down and pulled the micro USB up. That was easier. The fuse box is right there by the left side of the steering wheel, and you're home free. Total time took about 45 minutes for that. I wanted to hardwire an E-Prance CarCam into the '90 MX-5, and it turned out to be easier than I thought it would be. I used a suction cup mount. I'll show you a video on that. I was able to run the cable through the overhead by removing the sun visor and the lockdown for the hard top, or for the soft top, excuse me. And it was pretty easy. There were 2 clips holding this in place, and the pillar mount had 2 clips, and it's on a lockdown as well as a positioning piece of plastic that held it in place. The overhead had to be removed first because there is a tab that goes under it that holds that in. So you need a Phillips screwdriver to take down the sun visor, and a number 40 star driver to take out the bolts for the overhead, for the lockdown. Okay, now the wiring has a little power adapter on it. It's micro USB on one end, and to get to the 5 volts from the 12 volt, there's a little adapter. It does fit down into the groove, into the slot here, between the pillar and the dash. So I'm going to pop it down through there and put it back together. The radar detector cable goes down through the same slot. So all I got to do is get it in there and fish it through underneath. Everything went pretty smoothly. Took about total 45 minutes. The only change I made was, instead of trying to fish the wire down from above, I found it easier to drop a snake from on top and then pull the micro USB adapter up. So the cable now comes down out by the mirror. You can see the camera hanging out just under the mirror, so it's not in the path of vision. And it comes on when the ignition comes on, which I will do right now. And you can see the camera has turned on. You don't have the full view of the camera there since it's mounted in a semi-hidden position, but I wasn't planning on watching while I was driving. It was there for afterwards if need be. I do have room to move it. The cable can be moved, and the cable was relatively inexpensive. I believe it was just around $10–11 bucks on eBay, on Amazon. Quick delivery with Prime, and very, very simple hookup. Okay, enjoy. Just so you can get a better look at the mount, that's a custom, modified, I should say, suction cup mount, since I want to move it from car to car. The E-Prance 805, which is the camera we're looking at here, comes with an adhesive GPS mount for the windshield, but I didn't want to get one of those for each ar. I figured I'd go with the suction cup mount to move it from car to car. And it worked very nicely. There's a second video showing how I modified the mount. You may want to try that as well. I moved the mirror out of the way so you could see how it sits there. We'll turn it back on so you get a better view of what's going on. So there you go. You turn on the ignition and the camera comes on. It will stay on until we shut the car down, and we have a functioning overhead power line now. So if for any other reason I want to add anything else up there, we can now do that as well. So there you have it from start to finish. The install of the E-Prance 805, modifying the suction cup mount so I can move it around, and getting the wire run down the pillar to the fuse box. Very simple, easy to do, relatively inexpensive. I picked the E-Prance 805 because it got fairly good reviews. It was small, simple, and relatively inexpensive. And there you have it. That's on a 1990 MX-5.